Hey guys, Jay here with Word Advice TV, and in this video I'll be showing you how to replace the infinite switch, or basically the cooktop burner switch, on one of these electric ovens or ranges. They're going to be either in the front or they're going to be in the back, but most of them are pretty similar. They'll look something like this. So the complaint with this cooktop is that sometimes this burner over here, the left front burner, would sometimes get stuck on high. So they would put it on high, it would start to glow red, but when they go to turn it down low, it just keeps glowing red. It does not go off. Actually, it's doing that to me right now. They said it was intermittent, it didn't happen every time. Nope, it just didn't heat up enough. But yeah, basically it would turn hot, and when you turn it down, it would not turn off. It would just stay on. In most cases, in almost most cases, what's bad is actually the switch that controls this burner, which is underneath this knob right here. We're gonna have to take this whole little panel off in order to get to it. And for those of you wondering where and how I bought this part, it's very simple. All you will need is the model number of your oven, which is usually gonna be either behind the main door or the shelf on the bottom. Just look for a sticker with the model and serial number. I like to just take a picture of it with my phone, and then once you have that, you go to repairclinic.com or dayparts.com, and then using the parts diagram, find the part that you're looking for, and then you can either order that part straight off of that website or copy the part number and try to find it on Amazon or eBay to get a better deal. And of course, before we get started, the very first thing we need to do is turn off the power. I like to do this at the oven itself, but you could also turn it off at the breaker panel. On many ovens, the plug, the big 240 volt plug, is going to be right on the floor towards the back. So if you take the shelf out, many ovens will have a really easy shelf. All you have to do is just tilt it upwards and it comes out. That is the case for me. So nice and simple to get that thing out. You put it back in the same way. If your shelf has rails, then you might have tabs on both sides that you need to depress before you can slide the shelf off the rails. But if your shelf is giving you a bunch of grief, then maybe you're just better off turning off that breaker after all. So I'm gonna set this shelf aside. Okay, and there it is. Oftentimes that's exactly where it's going to be. Sometimes it could be here, or maybe on the wall, but it'll be just right behind the oven towards the bottom. But of course that is not always the case. Sometimes it's on the wall higher up, so you won't be able to do this. You will have to pull the oven out to unplug it. So then just reach in there, grab the plug and pull it out. One word of warning though, do not touch the metal prongs as you're pulling this thing out. You might be tempted to get a better grip, but only grab the rubber part, so you don't grab the prongs, otherwise you're gonna get a really nice zapping. And it doesn't always come out really easy either. You have to just wiggle it. And right now I'm not in a good position, so I'm gonna go from this side so I can get a better grab at it. There, I finally got it unplugged. And of course the whole time I was being cautious not to touch these metal prongs while they're in there. Now that we have the power off, next up is to get to the actual infinite switch. On this style of an oven or cooktop, we will need to take this panel off. If your switches are on the back panel, towards the back of the oven, then you will need to pull the whole range out so you can take the back cover off and get to them that way. On this GE range, this style is pretty simple. You just have to pull all the knobs off. And there's these big plastic bolts, or not bolts, I don't even know what to call them. It's almost like a plastic washer, but you need to take all of these off underneath all of the knobs, and they should come off pretty easy. Sometimes it could be crusted or something, so to get it started it might be hard, but then you can just go with your fingers and get the rest of it out. We got all those washers out. And now we should be able to just lift this whole little metal panel right up. And there it is. There's no wires or anything on this thing, so we can just set that aside. And this right here looks pretty nasty, so I will be right back. Okay, that looks much better, so we can continue. Next up, we have these 4 screws that need to come out, which are 1/4 inch hex. Let's go ahead and get those out so that we can take this whole metal piece out. All right, let's try to take that out. And it slides out pretty easy. And there are wires that are connected that are not very long, so don't pull on it too hard. You don't want to be disconnecting anything unintentionally. And here we see all of our infinite switches and the main control board, or the electronic range control for the whole oven or range. And personally, I don't like to take apart more than I need to, so I don't take this thing completely out because you need to disassemble a lot more things. I just simply take these two screws out that are holding the infinite switch, and it makes swapping it out much easier. I'll show you in a second what I mean. After you got the screws out, you can take this little bracket out, and that whole infinite switch just slides right out. Do keep in mind how you take it out though. Notice how A is on the bottom. So of course with the new one, you're going to be putting A in on the bottom as well. And now that we have the infinite switch out, we can see all the wire connectors and we can easily pull them off and transfer them onto the new one. You can either take a picture, disconnect them all, and then put them on here. But I like to just take them off one at a time and put them onto the next terminal exactly where I took it off from, so I don't get confused later. You should be able to just take them right off. The connectors usually are not very stiff, but sometimes they can hang on there pretty tightly, so you can either use a flathead screwdriver to help it out, or just take a needle nose, grab it, and just kind of wiggle it off. So one wire's off, we took it off of here. We're going to put it in the same place on the new one. Like that. Take the next wire off. Put it on the new one. I'll take this corner off next. Followed by the red one. And the last one was easy as well. And actually, before we put this in, let me just point one more thing out. This didn't happen to me this time, but I feel like it is important. So these little wire connectors, see how they get bent like that? If you put one of these on and you feel like it's really loosely on there, it just wobbles, what you need to do is grab just a little pair of pliers and crimp down on this connector just lightly. You don't want to crimp it all the way down, but loose connections can create extra heat, which can cause the wire to start to melt. And of course, we don't want that. So ever so slightly, crimp that down so it latches onto that little terminal stronger, so it's not wobbly and stuff. Let's put that back on and put our new infinite switch back into its place. Make sure that A, or whatever it was for you, is on the bottom. And we're going to slide this infinite switch right back in to where we pulled the old one out from. We'll put this little bracket back on and screw it in. And that's it. Your new switch is in. These screw holes can be a little bit difficult to line up, but it's not too bad. Just move it around until the holes line up, and the screws should go in relatively easy. Don't forget about the 4 screws. And with these plastic nuts, there's no need to over tighten them. So just get it snug, a little bit past finger strength or finger tight, and you should be good. Oh, look at that. It goes back in much easier than it comes out. If anybody's curious, here's the old switch, and there was a little bit of a burn mark right over here. This is where the infinite switch opens and closes. So maybe this thing was actually burning out. Even though this problem was intermittent, I'm assuming the longer this stayed in there, the more frequently this would happen. And lastly, let's give this a test. I'll put it on high. I think I'm gonna leave it on for a good minute or two. Let it really warm up, and then try putting it back to low and seeing if it turns off. It's been over a minute now, so let's go ahead and turn this down to 5. Look at that, turns off right away. Perfect. And the homeowner was complaining that even when she goes from high all the way down to low, this thing would stay on. Not all the time, but every third time or so. Perfect. That looks good. Almost forgot about the shelf. There, now we're done.